Hello, everybody. My name is Elise. My family calls me Lisi, so that already feels inauthentic. But so I have a lot of things that I want to work on, and I think I have a lot of things to say. Well, I know I have a lot to say. If you find it helpful, good. If you don't, um, then there's that too. But I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but there's one thing that I'm good at. It's being consistent. So this is like the pilot, and I have a name, and you'll see it on the caption. I'll just tell you now then, because you'll probably already see it. It's The Cheese Stands Alone. I like that, and it fits me for as of today. So yeah, I have a bunch of things to say, and so a couple of the things that I'm working on include this idea of simplicity, which I know everybody's working on, and I'm trying really hard, and it is really hard. And also the idea that like perfection is not interesting. No one cares about perfection because nothing is perfect, and striving for it seems to only be harmful. So these videos are going to be just like, I want them to feel like so this is just the pilot, so this is just more of an intro to me, but I want them to be more like lived. I have a background in philosophy. I just graduated, so I kind of feel like a fish out of water, but I really do have a lot to say. Again, I don't know if it will be helpful, but I think maybe someone will find it helpful. And I really don't appreciate when things like videos and movies are seen as like content, and then you see viewers as just numbers. I don't like that. So if there's one or two or three kind of people who find value in what I say, then I truly am satisfied with that. So that's kind of why I feel better about taking this unorthodox kind of approach. I don't know if it's unorthodox, but I'm holding my phone up and I'm just talking, so I'm not gonna worry about, so like probably if I did this a couple months ago, I'd be like, oh my God, I need to worry about lighting, and I need to set up my phone, and I need to make sure my skin is perfect. And so I'm trying to get away from that, because the main things that I'm focusing on for myself as of right now are this approach to simplicity, which is like the Coco Chanel idea of like, look in the mirror, take one thing off before you leave. And obviously she didn't come up with it, but I think that's one of those timeless ideas that is valuable, and that when you do simplify things, you often see the beauty more clearly. And that I just appreciate a lot. So, and I'm trying to do that. So a little bit about me, I love to talk. I love to be around people and things, and I like to, well, I think everybody likes to think, but yeah, I feel like the world's an interesting place, and I like to be in it. I like movies and TV shows. I like to cook. I don't like to bake, but I like to think about baking. And I do bake when I'm forced into making cookies or brownies or whatever, because I do this. So again, sorry, this is really discombobulated. Discombobulated is not the right word. This is kind of I've been thinking about how I'm going to do this for a long time. So it's not from a lack of thought, but I have so much that I want to say. And this is, again, a simplicity thing that I'm trying to work on. And I thought that hiding the flaws and trying to make a perfect video is just not how it is. And it would be refreshing to see something different for once. So at least to me it is. So yeah, the point of these videos, I'm just going to like kind of just go through my life. So like, just as a little catch up, sorry, I thought my sisters were home. I'm so excited to see my chickens. Where was I? Oh yeah. So like on Monday, I do well with routine. So in the mornings, I always have the same routine. Then on Mondays and Wednesdays, I make dinner for my family. I like to do that chopped effect. I call it chopped in my head, but like where you kind of like have these things in the fridge, and then you make a meal based on that, and you focus on the basket ingredients, which is just basically what I need to use in the fridge. So like last night I called it rat pie. I made ratatouille by roasting the vegetables and stuff. And then I made this like Japanese sweet potato mash with boiled cashew because I didn't want to add cream, like heavy cream. I wanted to do like a protein protein based way, which I am not one of those proteinaholics, don't worry, but you do have to have some protein in your meal. So I did boiled cashew as the cream kind of fatty element for the Japanese sweet potato, and then I did smoked paprika, garlic, salt, pepper, and mayonnaise because I wanted to add that richness, but also the tang to complement the sweetness of the Japanese sweet potato. But anyway, so I topped that on the ratatouille, and they really liked it. And they, meaning my two sisters, which you'll meet. This is, again, just the pilot, so you'll meet everybody. Yeah, my two sisters, my dad and my mom. And my other sister is not home, so she didn't have my meal. It would be, yeah. So anyways, I also like to work in the garden. I'm working in the garden with my mom. You'll meet her, and all the sides of her. Just kidding, not really. But anyway, so today I have been, so anyways, the point of this is an intro to me. I might redo this because it is very messy. But yeah. So yeah. I have a bunch that I also want to say, and I need to remember that my phone is probably always going to be there, and I have the ability to pick it up and just record when I think of something. So this is more of just forcing myself to start, because I think that starting is most of the battle, and then once you do start, you're like, that wasn't so bad. And again, that's not something that's new to me, and it's not something that I just randomly thought of. I've heard that from so many people, but it is something that I'm trying to strive towards. So another thing that I wanted to say is that this is not related really, but when I was in the garden today, because sometimes I need to just like, when you feel overstimulated and you're like, I feel like I have so many thoughts right now, let me go watch a movie, and it's like that only makes it worse. Let me put in my AirPods and let me smell a bunch of things that I'm cooking, and let me, it's like you are overstimulated and you fix it by adding more stimulation. It doesn't make sense, but in one way it does, because like when you scroll through TikTok or something, which I haven't been on in a long time being like 4 days. So that is a long time for me though. So but anyways, I try to monitor what I consume via like stimulation, because it really does affect the way that you think and the way that you talk and the way that you act to other people. And so anyway, so I was outside eating my apple because I was overstimulated by the freaking Great American Baking Show, which they have a new season of, and I love it. But sometimes I have to turn it off because I literally think of too many like cake ideas and I'm not even gonna make them. So it's like, why am I stressing myself out over my oatmeal? So anyways, I went outside to eat my apple. And also, when you eat like an apple just by itself, you appreciate how sweet it is. And I was engaged with the apple, and I was trying to refocus my mind, because when I was on the tread this morning, I just like, sometimes you just get in that like panic mode in your head, and you just feel like, well, you're on the treadmill, your mind's on the treadmill, and you can't get a break anywhere. So I went outside and the door locked behind me, and I was like, okay, well, when life gives you lemons, which is ironic, because on the Great British Baking Show, the theme was nature cake. And I was actually thinking that I would make a classic lemon pound cake to celebrate the simplicity and beauty of nature, hence the motivation for me to do this video today. Well, not really. I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. But anyways, so I went outside and I was locked outside, and I was just engaged with, the busyness and hustle and bustle of nature itself. And that's stimulation, but it's like, that's the stimulation we were meant to have. So it's not overwhelming in the way that like choosing a Netflix episode amongst hundreds of thousands of content videos and scrolling through YouTube to find the perfect thing that's going to complement when you're eating your meal for 10 minutes. And if it's not perfect, then you're going to be upset because it ruins your meal. And I have that problem. And it's like, okay. So anyways, I went outside and I was watching the bees, like, and the plants, and smelling, quite literally, I was smelling the roses, and this pink antique rose that we have smells so good. And the June rose that I like the appearance of the best actually doesn't smell as sweet. But yeah, so it doesn't really matter what it's called, because, you know, a rose would smell just as sweet by any other name. But anyway, so I was watching the bees and I was thinking about, this sounds annoying, but I was thinking about Descartes, and he has this idea of like bet machines, which is the idea that animals are like ghosts in the machine, nothing's there behind the body. And I think he's totally wrong, because I was watching these bees harvest, or whatever it's called, like they were like getting the pollen out of the flower in very different ways. So there was one bee that was like meticulous, and the bee would like open the flower, and then I don't even know, I think it's a proboscis or something. They stick the proboscis into the flower, and then they're kind of covered in this like fuzzy yellow pollen. And there was this really large bee that was just taking its time lifting the petals. And then there was this other like psychotic bee that was like blowing through all the petals, blowing them off, like just doing this little dance over the pollen, and just like it was like clearly like, I don't even know what I would call it, like just like a like if the bee had drank a charged lemonade, that's how it would harvest the pollination, or that's how it would harvest the pollen. But this other bee was like one that drank like, well, not drink, I don't know why basically it was just like a hyper bee versus a slow bee. And then I saw another bee that was like not very good at its job because it was dropping petals and it was kind of slow. It was like, yeah. So anyways, I feel like there is something to be said, that there is something behind animals not being bet machines, because they have personality. That's what I'm trying to get across. I'll get better at this, but if I just start like I'm saying, this is so repetitive. Anyways, another thing is, this is not a podcast. I'm just going to take you through my life, because I think maybe something I say amongst a lot of things might be helpful to somebody. Also, something like this I think is comforting to me, because I think it's really helpful to see things that aren't perfect all the time, because everything we see is just an example of, you know, success. So like, you don't really see all the failures, because if they were failures, or if they weren't failures, you wouldn't be seeing it. So like all the movies and like bad popular YouTube shows that people watch, and famous people who are annoying, like they still achieved a level of success because we're viewing it and we see views as success. So yeah, so I just thought, you know, this is also something good for me to do, because it's an outlet for my own thoughts. So selfishly, this should help calm, you know, the storm in my own head. But yeah, I talked about the bees. I wanted to talk about simplicity, Aristotle's philosophy of you become better by doing. Well, being is doing, but you become better just by, you know, continuing to do better, and you can't ever reach perfection. That's the idea that I'm striving towards. I think I mentioned this, but I am post-grad as of like 3 weeks, and I'm sure everyone who's post-grad knows that it's, okay, 14 minutes, that's a long time, sorry. Not sorry, actually. But yeah, anyone who's post-grad knows that I guess it's hard, because it's like, even like, the reason I was talking about the bees is because everything in nature really does have a purpose, and things need to have a purpose. It's like that teleological account of things, again, Aristotle. But it's like we do well when we have a purpose, and I'm sure I know this goes for everybody, but it's like when you when you are in that like post-grad transition, it feels so scary. It's also exciting because it's like you can actually discover what your greater purpose is. But the reason why this is so attractive to me is because I have the ability, like just by virtue of being born when we have the ability to connect with other people. And that's why you see things like, you know, the rise of like fusion food and stuff, because we've never been this interconnected, and that brings both good and bad, like anything. But like the idea that I could reach someone in like Oklahoma from Ohio, or I could, you know, or like a former like literally anyone can view the videos that you put on a public platform. Like, I think that's an interesting thing that sometimes we don't stop to think about. And it's kind of like a lot of the things in life, we just need to stop and smell the roses, quite literally, like I was doing today, to appreciate the kind of power and beauty and things that we have at our fingertips that we take for granted. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up here. It's not going to be the end at all, because this is just the start. So yeah, I'm not a big social media person. This is the only place that you're gonna find me. I do have an Instagram account because I'm not a weirdo, and I use it to scroll through like everyone, and but I'm not a big poster, and I'm not going to be a big poster. But so instead of urging you to follow me, I urge you to go outside into your garden or find a grocery store near you or something like that, and just smell some roses or smell some flowers, because it was recentering for me. Or there's one more thing. So there was a hole. I trimmed the bushes yesterday, and there was a hole, and I was like, I'm pretty sure a chipmunk lives here. And when I was standing looking around the garden, I saw the chipmunk, and I was like, what a joy to be me, because I knew there was a chipmunk that lived there. So yeah, it mentioned the chipmunk. I was watching squirrels and birds. Yeah, so my advice to you today is to go outside, because outside recenters me, it might recenter you. No AirPods, no phone. You don't need to lock yourself out of the house like I did, and it wasn't on purpose. But yeah, I think you should go outside, and for like 5 minutes, just try not to engage with anything other than what you see, because sensation comes from what we hear, what we see, what we touch, what we smell, and what we feel. So basically, just try to watch your thoughts and don't engage with them, and you might find yourself feeling better, because that usually works for me if I can achieve that point. I have many things I'm trying to be more meditative and think about what I say before I say it, and all that. But I'm trying again to remember that not everything needs to be instant or perfect. And so yeah, it's kind of like, slow down, you have time. And if it were perfect, then no one would want to watch it, because that's not interesting, because then you know how it ends. So I'm going to stop here. You'll learn way more about me, but this is just the pilot. The cheese stands alone. And the reason it's called that is because the cheese was standing alone in the garden today for like 2 hours. And that's why I kind of think that some things happen for a reason, because it really does make me feel better. And I'm finally doing this, and I've actually recorded a couple other videos that probably won't see the light of day. And my chickens are home. I'm facing that way because of the lighting. I did get locked out. Okay, so you'll meet them later, but that's the end of the first video. Oh yeah, another thing I thought of, I just recorded like 2 other videos of this, because I kept forgetting when I turn the camera around. It's like I'm shy in front of my own phone. So I'll become more comfortable also when my sisters are around and other people are around, and it won't feel so awkward once I'm past the pilot. But something I thought of is that I also want this to be like a dialectic kind of account, or a dialectic engagement, where it's like kind of like, again, with Aristotle, he has this account of perception where it's like the viewer does half the work, but also the perceiver does half the work. Not exactly half, for it doesn't really matter from a mathematical stance, but the idea is that you contribute from one side when you're perceiving, and you contribute from the other side as the perceiver, what you're perceiving, and then as the perceiver. So basically, like if you're looking at a tree, the tree is contributing to that experience just as much as you are, because it's existing for you to look at it. So in that idea, the perceiver is important because it's like they're the ones listening. So you guys are the ones listening to what I have to say. But what I have to say is also important because you have to have something to listen to. But it's not like one or the other is more important. So it's like they exist, they coexist, they exist together. So I also think that philosophy is something that is supposed to be lived, and the reason that I'm so captivated by philosophy is because like the whole idea is that like what you learn becomes a part of you, and it's like you take these experiences with you. You're not just learning for a test, you're not just learning to perform to get into a college, you're learning to live better. And that is something that I try to do. I try to share with other people in not a preachy way, but in a way that's like truly from a caring point of view. But also I'm really working on listening better, because I am a good listener, but I'm not a great listener. Because sometimes my own thoughts, it's like you hear something and then it's like your listening shuts off because you're thinking in your own head, but it's like you just cut yourself off from learning even more. So let people finish, and I have a problem with that, but I'm trying, and that's what matters. Hence Aristotle, always doing, but always striving. So it's always like this end goal that isn't supposed to be achieved because it's not achievable, in the sense that nothing's complete. So anyways, I wanted to make sure that I emphasize the fact that the viewer is just as important as the viewee, if that's even the right word, or as the content creator. I hate the word content, but I am creating as the speaker. I'll say the speaker. As the speaker and the viewer are, they coexist, as I've established. And I just wanted to emphasize that to whoever may view this, if you write comments, or I'm not well, what is the word? I don't really use YouTube that much, in the sense that I follow like channels and stuff other than like TED Talks and stuff, but or TED Talks, TEDx specifically, or just TED the channel. But like I do watch videos on YouTube, but I don't like have I don't have like community on there, or I'm not really familiar with using the interface and things like that, even though I do have an engineering background. I don't know why I randomly just said that, but you'll learn that more about me. But anyways, so yeah, so I want to engage with whoever watches the videos. If this is just my chickens, my sisters, then hey guys, talk to me in the kitchen. But just kidding, talk to me in the comments. It will boost the algorithm. Just kidding. I supposedly don't care about that. Obviously everybody wants to be seen, but I truly do want to value each person who watches it for themselves. I don't want, like, I hate being reduced to a number. Like, even at my own graduation, I graduated from Ohio State like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I was just having such a hard time standing in the crowd of like you feel, everybody feels unique, and then you stand in the crowd of everybody looking the same, wearing the same robe, wearing the same hat, like they're all dressed up and excited for their future, and it's like, oh my God, I'm just like you hear that everyone's on an assembly line, but you really see it when you go to a large school graduation like that. So I didn't wear my hat the whole time because that was the one like way I felt I could stand out, and even then my family didn't see me in the stands, and I think other people weren't wearing their hats too because it was hot, but I just didn't want to wear it because that felt too uniform. Like, I don't know. I get that uniforms are meant to be they're meant to be conspicuous alone, but when you're together, you become a part of one thing. And that's another thing. My overall philosophy is that like you achieve like your purpose in a broad sense when you see yourself as a unique individual, a part of many. So it's like kind of like are the United States e pluribus unum, like out of many one. It's kind of, but in a different way, because it's like it's almost like paradoxical. It's like all is one, in the sense that like we're a part of this giant big circle, like community of like the greater people. That sounds weird. Like no, we're all a part together. Like you can't understand yourself in isolation, but you must understand yourself to be a part of something greater than yourself. This is, again, throughout philosophy. It's just like the greater takeaway that I've gotten from my studies. And I only studied philosophy for like, I think it was like a year and a half or two, because I was in engineering and then I switched to philosophy for reasons that you'll uncover, stumble upon, because I'm just going to force them down your throat, because I'm just going to tell you. It's not like you're going to ask. Well, maybe you will in the comments. I don't know. We'll see how engaged you guys are. But anyways, so yeah, so I did like a really quick thing, and I did a bunch of philosophy, and I loved it, and I still love it, and I'm going to continue to engage with it, and you guys are going to continue to hear about it, as everyone in my life does, to their joy, to their aid, and to their demise. No, not to their demise, and to their probably annoyance. But anyways, yeah, there was a lot in there I wanted to say, but the point is that I appreciate and value if someone even engages with what I'm saying, and I wanted to make sure that I say that. I probably won't cut this video, even though actually one of my hobbies is video editing. So the way that this is going to, I was thinking I might start the videos with like a song or something, and the song that calms me when I literally feel like panicky is The Circle of Life. So if you see me listening to that on Spotify, maybe don't call me. Let me finish the song. But yeah, so I also might not do that, because that just feels performative or cheesy or whatever. Choose your word. Actually, I'll choose the word. It feels performative and it feels forced. So maybe I won't do that. But I'm going to talk through what I do, because you guys are people too. I just like, yeah, I don't like feeling reduced to something that I'm not, and everyone's a person who's just trying to live their life the best that they can. And I think that I don't want to be like in society and whatever, but I do think that that's an idea that has been lost, or at least disguised. And then, yeah, the disguise thing reminds me of like the Heideggerian kind of like phenomenological approach, where it's like things, you can only understand things how they show themselves. So that's another point I wanted to make, and I'm going to end it right after this, I think. But like, obviously you can only understand what I choose to share and what I choose to talk about. But there's clearly more to the story. So take what I say with a grain of salt, because oftentimes I probably don't even mean it in the full extent. I mean, sometimes I do, but it's just like, you have to remember that, well, you being me has to remember that, that we're all changing. And the thing about social media is it freezes us in a way that is perfect for critique and not great for, improvement, because you can't really go back and change it because it's out there. So just remember that I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Things that I say probably will mean what I'm trying to say, but also there's the 100% chance that I'll say things that I probably don't fully mean. And I also wanted to flag that. So yeah, I turned around. The other lighting was better, but such is life. Just kidding. So yeah, I think my posture is kind of bad right now. So, yeah, I'll probably end this as the pilot, because the idea is that this is like an intro to me, and then I'll just carry you guys around as I talk to my phone and weird out my neighbors. Just kidding. I can't weird them out any more than I probably have throughout my entire life. So, yeah, Dirk and Julie, hi, if you're watching. So yeah. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna end it there. I might do some sort of like exit thing. I don't know if I'll have a catchphrase or something, probably not. Oh, this is actually one more thing that I wanted to say before I end. My sisters were like Lily and Cho. Cho is her nickname. It came from when she was really little. It just, I don't even know what it means anymore, but that's, if you hear me say Cho, Po, any variation of that, and Bagoo, that's what I call Lily, that's them. So anyways, Cho was saying that, or Sophia was saying that, she was like, aren't you embarrassed if other people see this? And I was like, not really, because if they do see it, then I must have done something right, because, you know, they found it. And if they don't see it, you know, then it's not a problem. So I do want to be seen, as I've established. And I get that it's seen as cringy or whatever to make not content, because I'm not going to call it content. But I do think that with the age that we're living in right now, we have the duty to, you know, share things that we feel like are worth sharing. And right now I feel like I'm in the position that I might have some ideas that are worth sharing, because I think some of the, if I could hear it, because like sometimes some of the things I say, I'm like, I know I said that, but I don't even do that, and maybe I should. So like the idea of like, it's like holding oneself accountable, so that's why I'm doing this, but it's also because I think sometimes it's helpful to see other people and to remember that oftentimes if you think something or if you struggle with something, it's really, really likely that someone else has the exact same problem, because no one's a unicorn, even though everyone is. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to end it with. And you'll hear me. Come here, Po. Come here before I end it. I'm going to end it here. This is my second. Okay, she's hiding. Po, come on. My phone only has so much storage. Pomo. Po. Slow. Sure, we'll all wait for you. You're waiting for yourself because I'm making you watch this. Po, come on. Come in here. Whatever. I just remembered I have legs. Ending it now with a glance of Cho. Goodbye. Okay. I'm sorry, I thought of one more thing. This is not meant, I said this before in the first video where I said this is the last thing, but it's not meant to be like a podcast, but I do think that like, and please don't, it's not like Radio Rebel either, where it's like, yeah, that's a good point, but like, it is sort of like Radio Rebel, I don't know, Po, don't make that face at me. I have so much, so little time. Just kidding. The idea, I've been saying that I want to be, yeah. Po's laughing, but she's like letting me talk because she knows if she doesn't, that I'm going to talk anyways. And I'm just going to repeat myself until she listens, which is, yes. So, to those of you who made it to the end of the video, which is Cho, because I'm forcing her to watch it, and Bagoo, because, well, Bagoo is a rebel, so, but she's going to watch it. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of thought like you walk around with me in your pocket and I'm just talking in your ear, because that's what I do to the people around me anyways. But, when I cook and stuff, and when I cook and when I trim bushes, I'm going to take my new friends, you guys, with me. And I'm already feeling much better and more comfortable in front of the camera because I'm around my Po, but also because I've warmed up. So I know my demeanor has changed since the first video, which is probably like 30 minutes ago for you guys. But I'm, yeah, I mean, as I've been saying, with Aristotle, he says practice is necessary for improvement. And that's the only thing you can ever do is keep trying. What is the sign?
I need to show you something.
I know. Okay. Well, anyways, I just wanted to say, I know like the message is the medium, and or the medium is the message and things like that. And I'm doing it on YouTube because I don't want to do it on TikTok because I need a long platform, and I don't want a podcast because I put value in visuals because I'm a visual person. So maybe something about you guys seeing a close-up of me talking, and my camera, my shaky camera, and probably spotty audio, even though I'm in a quiet room. But yeah, I wanted to say that about the message. I have more quotes and things like that to share. And you guys haven't even heard about my movie theories and stuff. And a bunch of all small theories. You haven't met the cats. There's lots to do still and forever. But yeah, this is the intro pilot. And now I am actually closing the video. The cheese stands alone. That's the name. That's the name because I got locked in the garden and I was thinking the cheese is standing alone. and that's the name of the video. Yes. I talked about bees and bet machines. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry because I keep doing it. I didn't articulate myself as well as I wanted to, but again, with the idea about moving towards pumpkin summit, with the idea about moving towards appreciating life's imperfection, is that like this is why I'm not writing, is because talking is something that you can actively change, and also because it's quicker and I want to just share my thoughts, and it's less likely that I'm going to be able to share them if I write them, because who sits down and reads 30 minutes worth of talking? No one, even though I did just open Vogue and I realized that there is value in reading. Just kidding, I do read. Sometimes I do indulge in TEDx videos and my own thoughts, if that counts. So yeah, what did you say? That is all. That is all. Probably not.
Well, it is.
So okay, I will do that. So now I'm ending the video for real. I'm probably just gonna piece it all together, and if you guys make it to the end, I've said a bunch of the same things a bunch of times in different ways, but that's me. So yeah, that's all. Okay, bye bye now.